Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Decipher the Lizard Talk with your host El Toro Loco. And our special guest today is Madame Christine Lagarde, letting you know the stage of the agenda we are in. Ladies and gentlemen, the level of tyrannical control we are going to be suffering because of what they're about to do to the economy will be unbelievable for you to fathom. Christine Lagarde, at her time in the IMF, spearheaded a lot of the infrastructure building for supranational organizations into implementing XRP. And I believe we're about to reach a crucial point in that phase. This video is going to break down the inflection point we're about to achieve. And you don't have to hear it from me. Listen to Christine Lagarde tell you herself.
President Lagarde, you are furiously taking notes over there. Would you comment on this, please? I've got about 8 ways to go here, but I'll let you choose which way to go.
That I always try to take notes when there are intelligent people around me, and they are. I will follow up from where Gita left it in terms of how more difficult it is today than maybe it was. And we tend to look at the world thinking, oh, it was so much better before. I think what's critically important is that we have an open mind and we have the humility to accept that we don't know it all, number one. The instruments that we have been using need to change and evolve and adjust and integrate new components that we haven't had on our plate, and I think that applies to models, that applies also to our communication, that applies to many factors that certainly have an impact on our job as central bankers. And if we do all that, I'm sure that we can get to where our mission drives us to be, and I'm not going to repeat myself, but it's something that is embedded in the DNA of central bankers, which is that price stability obsession that we have in order to facilitate the unleashing of economic forces for the better. I would just mention one thing, which is time management. I mean, the whole debate about transitory team, not transitory team, and all that is in a way a reflection of our relation to the passing of time. And the movement that we have observed more recently from our audiences, whether it's people in the trade, analysts, observers, but also the general public, which expect instant results, instant gratification, in the face of what monetary policy can do, in the face of how market forces respond, which has always an element of time lag and requires patience. And to actually be able to communicate that and come up with the narrative that will be convincing enough so that those who determine inflation expectations, for instance, appreciate that patience will be needed, that it's not going to just happen instantly as you move from one game to the other. I think it's something that is a challenge for all of us policymakers.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on here? Let's decipher the lizard talk from the biggest reptilian, Christine Lagarde. She's over here discussing that the general public expects instant gratification in the face of what monetary policy can do in the faces of market forces, of how market forces respond. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that this next financial crisis is going to partially be averted and fixed by the money getting faster. XRP was rebranded as on-demand liquidity, I believe 4 or 5 years ago. And that was a moment of clarity for me. The reason it was a moment of clarity is because I understand that these fees the banks are collecting is causing friction. This crisis can be delayed if you increase the speed of money, and I am convinced of that. Also, by using a digital asset like XRP, where you've been planting the seeds of its future growth for a decade now. I believe the price appreciation of XRP can help in offsetting a lot of the debt, a lot of this crisis and the utility in its liquidity will be profound. And what's also important for all of you to realize is that with this new regulatory clarity, XRP is the best positioned digital asset to lead the crypto bull run next time around. XRP missed the last one, but this one, it should explode more. In 2017, it led in terms of percentage gains the whole crypto market. Then, it had the worst percentage gains amongst the top 10. This time around, there will not only be XRP clarity, but also general crypto regulations, as Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a crypto licensing bill in California, and we are beginning to see more and more states take action. We need to see the federal government make policy as well. We need Congress to step up. But more and more, as individual states realize how important crypto is, we're going to get the increased likelihood that this next crypto cycle is XRP dominant, with recent reports confirming that SBF and Caroline Ellison were making big efforts to keep Bitcoin below 20K. I wouldn't doubt for a second that the same thing is being done right now on XRP, and I 100% agree with Alex Cobb. XRP is being suppressed artificially until the time is right. And once that moment comes, trust me when I tell you it will well have been worth the wait. Now guys, you all need to realize we're reaching an inflection point of a moment. This technology is inevitable because it converges with every single agenda of control they're implementing right now. A carbon allowance connected to a digital ID under the pretext of a global boiling climate crisis. In addition, CBDCs, social credit, the adoption of AI, all these technologies are coming in for one reason only. The digital control grid is coming into play. And I do believe deeply that XRP is going to play a pivotal role in that. Ripple is balls deep Silicon Valley. And they use the same talking points the elites use time and time again. Don't get it twisted, guys. The agenda is close. The timeline is playing out. And I'd love you all to listen to this clip, as it helps better describe and paint a perfect picture of what's to come.
The digital identity is not just a passport that you will have on your iPhone in a digital form. It entails just about everything the government would like to know about you. And yesterday in the Dutch media, we saw a perfect example of what it could entail in the near future. We had the CEO of one of the largest Dutch banks say, "Why don't we start with a personal carbon credit?" Oh. A carbon wallet, she called it, actually. Yeah. So right in line with the plans that the World Economic Forum people have for us. And she said it in a way that was particularly funny. She said, well, if everyone gets an individual personal carbon credit, why don't we make it so that rich people who, for example, want to go on holiday a little too often can buy personal carbon credit from other people who, for example, can't afford buying plane tickets or eating meat too often. So we can that way swap it out.
Oh, so if Bill Gates or Leonardo DiCaprio's carbon footprint is getting a bit too big, then some peasant living in his hovel up country somewhere can sell his, and he can't afford to go to Saint-Tropez, but he'll be able to sell his carbon allowance to Leonardo DiCaprio so Leonardo can park his yacht in Saint-Tropez for a couple of extra days.
Exactly right. That's it. So what will happen is the rich will get richer, the poor will get poorer, and they're saying it openly as if it's not a controversial thing at all. It's neo-feudalism. That's what it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the unveiling of the next steps. You thought 2020 was bad. Just wait till the cult of I believe the current thing gets a hold of this. There will be a moment, a black swan of a moment, my friends, that must take place in order to get people to use central bank digital currencies, accept their universal basic income, and tolerate all of this. Let's make something clear. Countries around the world will probably adopt it pretty easily. There will be a resistance in some Western nations. But this is inevitable. And this has always been my problem with the maxis. The maxis want to sit here and try and pretend that if we don't invest in XRP, it's just going to stop. It's just not going to happen. But in reality, everything's been predetermined and decided, and I just want my piece of the pie so that I could get rich when the next stage comes, and I can attempt to help people that may not be able to help themselves. Guys, the world is getting crazy, but here, even Bank of New York Mellon is well aware that people don't trust the banks and probably don't trust governments either. That's why we believe in the XRP space, that a black swan must take place to give a reason for why people would accept central bank digital currencies.
Yeah, I agree. And sometimes, I mean, in discussions about wholesale and retail CBDC, one very obvious question arises. Why do we need to have the distinction? I mean, why not having just a CBDC that works wholesale and retail? And that's it.
So Richard, I completely agree that I don't know that there needs to be a distinction between wholesale and retail, especially if the benefits of it are related to the portability. That retail concept, I know that they had talked about, well, we can now bank the unbanked. But at least in the United States, I would argue if a person doesn't have a bank account, it's because they don't trust banks. And if they don't trust banks, I'm pretty sure they don't trust the government much either. So, I don't know that would then definitely going to be an uplift in the unbanked. I understand the argument.
Now, guys, with all of you understanding how little people trust the banks and these CBDCs that they're trying to push, you need to realize that they need a crisis in order to make this happen. We are on Black Swan watch. And at the same time, Jamie Dimon is warning this is the most dangerous time for the world in decades. And I actually 100% agree. We're witnessing all the wars, the health crisis, the possible economic collapse we're about to experience. And we know we're in volatile times. But what I'm going to stress is we are going to be more prepared than 99% of the planet. People aren't privy to this information, but all of you are. And all that preparation is going to pay dividends. When people are lost, they don't know what to do. But everyone in the XRP community will. Stay the course, my friends. We're almost there. Now, guys, to cap off this video for today, I have posted a brand new high-risk, immaculate entry point crypto that I'm putting a tiny position in because I think it's going to perform very well this next bull market. And also, I've posted my recent Q&A with my mentorship community so that all of you have 2 videos you can indulge in and gain some valuable resources from. I genuinely hope to see all of you in there, and I genuinely appreciate every single one of you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.